Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean. Last time, same thing that happened the time before. Super Dungeon, Ultimate Dungeon, Bonus Dungeon, whatever. I also made lots of confusion happen because, that's the way I roll, especially when I forget to check certain parts of my map. And yeah, so hopefully I didn't confuse you too badly. If I ever start confusing you, just ignore me and ask me to, repeat it, or usually I'll already have the fix done up. So anyway, last time we went through the upper left path there. This time we're going to take the the lower left path, which leads to a couple of treasures and a dead end, I believe. As long as my map is not lying to me. Yeah, I definitely have to keep up with the MP costs. And we have a reflect ring, which we've already found one of. And I think that's actually it. Is my sound down? No, it's not. Seems lower. That's what the button is on the headphones for, to turn them up. Okay, let's avoid using any more text with erratics so we can gain some MP back. I could also give him a blackberry, but I do like to be kind of sparing with them, especially at this stage where the enemies aren't particularly, all that challenging. I think I started to say it and I forgot, but I'm not going to be bringing out the pickaxe to check all of these. I don't know if they require, if you can get stuff from that, but I don't care because you don't need any gems at this point in the game. By the time you get in here, you should have easily, collected the ultimate weapons and at least some tri-emblems. So there's no real point to, be using anything else at this stage, I don't think. I don't see, a Berserk Ring, yes, you could use a Berserk Ring to deal some more damage, but the enemies are starting to deal enough damage to me that I don't really want to do that. Sorry about that, you guys. I just edited out the rest of that battle there because I had interruption I had to deal with, so instead of boring you with... Alright. Instead of boring you with that, instead, we're going to just keep moving on there. Alright, we got a Flare Spread, which is finally a new weapon for Renixis. We also got a new weapon for Fear. Now, I'm not sure what's better. 50% crit rate. It's weaker, but I think this is better than what we have, assuming that value is correct. Even with the loss of accuracy, I'm not particularly worried. That's my choice. There's another weapon later that is kind of a, wishy-washy. I'm not sure which one's better between the Assassin's Dagger and this other one that I can't recall off the top of my head. Let's see, let's find Renixis here. He finally gets a new bow, which is only 700 better than his, or 100, sorry, better than his previous, and is, elemental now. All of his remaining bows are elemental, and I don't think they get any stronger than 700. I think he gets a lightning spread, which is the same bow, but lightning elemental, which is actually worse than fire elemental from what I recall. Regardless, let's just check to make sure I'm not running too high on this stuff. Nope, I'm good. Alright, I didn't want to run into a battle. I want to be able to find out what else is laying in the room here. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to start feeding blackberries at this point. I don't really want to. You can, of course, use the little pigeon there to familiar. And that's a dead end, that's great. Now, you can't get up there. I think you can get out of that door, but not in that door, which is kind of odd. Alright, so we've taken the upper left path, the lower left path. Now, there should be a lower right path that I can take as well as a middle lower path. Let's see here. I believe both are accessed this way, so that's the center one on the left there. This one is the one that leads to a dead end, and I believe a single treasure. That big treasure room I mentioned in the last episode is later on in the dungeon. I think it's around floor 20 or so. So let's just pop in through here, pick up a question mark guard. I should probably identify that. This treasure chest is empty. I don't know why. I hate it when games do that. Putting an empty treasure chest in there, I guess, increases the realism that someone else may have, collected the treasure before you. But it's an RPG. It just makes me think, what did I screw up earlier in the game that means I can't get that treasure chest now? I don't think it's some crazy, trick one or some crazy, Final Fantasy 13 Zodiac Spear situation, but, I don't really know. I haven't done any research on it. There's just not enough evidence and not enough, evidence. Look at me talking like a scientist. There's just not enough, resources out there to provide me with the information that I need. Not enough guides and all that. So, unfortunately, I don't know. Unfortunately, I've said that so many times in this LP, it's not funny, but oh well. Is what it is. I can only work with what's available in my own research, of course. Experience. So here we've finally moved on to the next floor. I spent so long at the previous floor, I don't even remember what this one's supposed to look like. Oh well, whatever. I will figure it out in due time. Oh, right. Yep. I think, yeah, we got a Cinderella Vial. Little late, game. Little late. Go. I'm using Shock Sword, not because it's better in this situation, but because it uses less MP and I'm trying to salvage it, but I still want to be able to do a decent amount of damage. Okay, now here, take the left, it takes you on a loop path that sends you down further below this position. This one over here leads to treasure. Elven boots, which suck. Question mark guard, which I will identify. Another question mark guard, which I will identify. Do bring a full stock of whatever they are, spectacles into this area. You definitely want to be able to identify the items you find. Star guards. At a point when you can easily obtain the other ones. We get cat armor, which again is another bikini. And it's again probably only equipable by one person, though I never really checked. Now everyone is maxed out danger sense at this point, so there shouldn't be anyone that is able to get an ambush on me, but they still manage to anyway. I'm wondering if some of the battle formations are kind of, only available as an ambush, like with those two Medusa eyes, which are those black swirling things that petrify you. So on the left there is where you'll come out if you take the upper left path there that I mentioned that loops down. So yeah, there's that. There's not a whole lot to this dungeon. It's just, mundane and kind of boring, which is a lot of the time what Star Ocean has done with their Cave of Trials. They're super... Would you stop hitting me so I can use a tech, please? So that, I don't know. They're not always that bad. This one's particularly boring because the puzzles aren't particularly interesting. Speaking of puzzles, free everything in the path shall open. Now, I'm not exactly sure the best strategy off the top, but as you can see, you open one, and yeah, okay, maybe I do know the best strategy. I was just kind of thinking off the top of my head. I should know that strategy by now because, there's so many, puzzles like that in RPGs, but yeah, pretty much. Just stop hitting me so I can hit you. God damn, interrupting me so much. One thing you will want to up in here once you're done kind of with your stats, for the most part anyway, is the battle techniques and battle skills, whatever they're called. Let's take a look at them here after I grab a couple of treasures. A reverse doll and a crown. Now, this isn't the mysterious crown or birthday crown or whatever the hell it is I'm equipping. Let's take a look here real quick. The dream crown. This is a crown with 1 defense. This is nothing like Edward's regal crown in Final Fantasy VI. No. This is pointless. Why are we getting this? This doesn't make any sense. Anyway, like I was saying, After upping the majority of your stats, you're going to want to put points into these combat skills. Okay, they're not battle skills, because these will end up helping you out in the long run. So I'm just going to put some more points in there. Do that with the other ones as well, since they're starting to build up. Put points in with Gale there. Up to 6. It's easy enough. I know I can do it. There we go. And Link combo, I might as well try and max that out. Release convenience there. Now, another thing that I've done with Fear is I've been working on another skill, that being Radar, so that I can get the highest level of... where is it? The highest level of Oracle, because each of those rooms, when you use Execute, will lead you to basically the development room of the game, so you get to talk to some of the creators of the game. So that's pretty cool, and of course I want to show that off when I get to the end here. But of course, warping out now would mean that I'd be warping out now, and that's not a good idea. Alright, what else can you put points into that will help you? Let's see. Yeah, that's the one thing about mages. Once they get to a certain extent, there's really nothing else to put into. I'll up her music ability. Why not? There we go. And yeah, she's pretty much done. There's nothing else we can really do to improve her ability with anything. I'm specifically leaving animal training down low because it determines the type of items that you can buy, and I want to be able to buy Blackberry still because they're far more useful than other things. What you can do with that is, because it's an individual skill, familiar, you can have different characters with different values, different levels of the skill, so that you can buy all the different items along the continuum there. But you know, because some of them disappear, unfortunately. Why is Fear not gaining experience here? Did I not do that way back when? That would kind of suck. Maybe she just died for a battle. Anyway, whatever. Let's continue on here. Yeah, Galaxy God Breath is really abusive. That's the yellow orbs that come shooting out that do quite a bit of damage. Alright, let's go... Okay, I was going to go save Millie, but Tinnick has her back, so it's all good. How's that? Yeah, that's way off. Alright, let's turn your training off for now. Balance my levels back out. I can also turn Millie's off now. She's higher level than Radix at this point. Get my levels all back up there. Now, all of these ones, if I recall correctly, just contain treasure chests. I don't think there's anything special here. No little puzzle with the doors or anything like that. Yeah, the game does kind of glitch out when you use put too many, you know, objects on the screen with like attacks and such. But, this game barely runs through the emulation. It's not that it barely runs. It does run, and it does run properly for the most part. But it's just, I don't know. It has its issues. It has its hiccups. Even the original game, I think, had plenty of hiccups to deal with. Here we get a question mark gem, which, again, at this point, why? Why would you care? Now... there's a heal ring from an empty chest. I'm not even sure if I knew that was there. I'll have to check my map. I was just kind of playing around. I'm not sure why they have that particular arrangement of chests there. Can't remember what they do on this particular level. Am I saying particular too much in this episode? I think I am. I should stop that. I'll stop saying particular in this particular episode, and then I'll go back to saying particular in every other episode. Does that make sense? I believe I'll show this off at least once. Okay. This is the same area that we've seen before, the same reused floor plan. So we have seen this one. I am just taking the lower route this time, even though there are no treasures down here, because I kind of wanted to show it off at least once so that you have an idea what it looks like. So that door is there, this door here, and that's the same door. So yeah, this is just basically the long way around. When I mapped this area out, I of course went through that, and then going up here will take us to where I showed off before. Ow, see ya, one-shotted. That's why you gotta be careful of her. That's why I'm gonna go straight for her. Die. Die. Heal me, please. Thank you. Yeah, she is quite dangerous. You want to make sure you take her out quickly. Let's screw the MP saving. Let's just kill her. And we gain some more levels. That's always nice. Okay, what did I want to do? I wanted some blackberries here. Mainly for you, because you're running low. I believe... Oh, there's a person in here. That's okay. Sure, I'll be careful. I think this room's empty. Yes, it is. This room is not empty. If I recall, this is the one with the spiked tile. Yep. Bullshit much, game? Now, do I have some kind of an item? I need something to distract them with. Do I have anything that I can kind of do that with? I'm expecting Millie to get off the heel right away here. Flare Bomb. Mega Flare Bomb. So, full heal. Distraction. Yeah, let's, I have no idea what's going on the screen, but die, 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 die. Whew. That is probably the most asshole thing in this entire game. But, yeah, they spike the tile. They hurt you, and then they put you in a fight against that guy. But I can't carry anymore. I don't care. Anyway, that weapon there is probably for Cius. Cius has more weapons than anyone else in this game for whatever reason. Oh, no, it's not. It's Meteor Crash, which is actually the best non-elemental weapon for Radix. 820 attack power. It's actually better than the best non-elemental one you can make, which I think has 760, 720, something like that. It's not bad. Lowers defense by 10% with each attack. It can be quite useful for a long fight. There just aren't really enough long fights to warrant its loss in power over the Aura Blade. Of course, you know, if the enemy absorbs light elemental, then you'll want to, you'll definitely want that one. But anyway, that's pretty much all for this floor. Let's finish off the one final battle here before moving on. We'll try and finish off some more of this in the next episode. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Let's Play Star Ocean. Next time, we continue through this place. Are my levels equal yet? Yeah, now I'm screwing things up because I'm offsetting everyone's. I'm just going to keep doing this over and over again until I get everyone's levels back even where I want them to be. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.